All right, so I wrote this X article yesterday about how we manage millions of email sends with Claude Fable 5. Of course, I think about 2, 3 hours ago, it actually got banned, but the concepts in this article still stand, and you can still apply these to your outbound if you just use Opus 4.0 or whatever. So I just want to break down the actual systems that I outlined in this article and to show you that they're real systems and literally show you the tools. I have one up here, and then I'm also going to show you something to do inside of Instantly. So number one is we see every domain's individual reply rate, and not just that, but the reply rate sending to different ESPs and ESGs. So if you don't know what those are, that's email sending providers and email sending guards. So that means we see every single domain and every single inbox individually. We know what's its individual reply rate, and sending to Google what's its reply rate, sending to Microsoft what's its reply rate, sending to Yahoo, sending to other what's its reply rate, and what's its bounce rate. And then the same with sending to Mimecast, sending to Barracuda, sending to Proofpoint, these different email sending guards. What are the reply rates and what are the bounce rates? The biggest thing for this I saw recently is that a lot of emails sending to Mimecast were bouncing. And so we've just been removing Mimecast from the campaigns to make sure we don't get high bounce rates. A lot of time as well, you'll see that the reply rate targeting Google leads is actually higher than the reply rate targeting Microsoft leads. And so you might remove Microsoft leads from your campaigns if you have a really large target addressable market. And so here's the actual tool we use. It's the custom one we built for Claude. The first thing I'll say about it is just right off the bat, being able to see your reply rate for leads contacted. So email sent, leads contacted compared to replies, and then emails sent compared to replies. And then are you including all replies or are you excluding out of office replies? Right. And so this makes a huge difference because if you see change these different things, we can be at a 0.54% reply rate, or we can be at about a 2% reply rate, which is a bit more reasonable. Right. And then it also changes just like what's the positive reply rate, and then what are the KPIs for this. Um, really, this can all get really complicated. This is usually the main KPI that we're looking at. I think that if you can get one lead per 100 to 500 contacted, you're usually in a good range, depending on the ticket price, but usually like, 5K plus ticket price, you're usually in a decent space if you can get one lead per 100 to 500 contacted. And so we're in a good spot with these campaigns. And so we have an ESP page right here that shows the reply rate individual to, let's see, let's load here. I can't remember right now load, but this is the reply rate. It's super complicated. Individual to other versus Google versus Microsoft, et cetera, et cetera. And then we have the reply rate individual to domains here. And so it's a pretty complicated dashboard. But here what we have is a very large system. Essentially, the point I made in the article is that let's say you're at a 3% reply rate. It doesn't mean that all of your inboxes are getting a 3% reply rate. You could have some at 5, 10%, and some at 1% or even less than that. And so it's really important to know individually how your domains are performing. Right. So we have our best domain is doing about a 4% reply rate, and then we have ones at like 0 that just aren't inboxing. Right. That's common. Infrastructure is always something that you're messing around with. And so all these different things are we have a quarantining option. So if a domain is underperforming, we can quarantine it, which puts it in a warm up, takes away from campaign sending for 2 to 4 weeks, whatever we set the quarantine setting to. And then after that, it automatically goes back in campaign sending. And so that's one of the very nice things about this is that let's say a domain is underperforming, we can just quarantine it, right? And then the second thing we have is it just highlights it if it's below the threshold. I think we have this one, the threshold at like 2% or something because the reply rates are really high. Um, but yeah, it's very, very nice to have this very specific visual data so we can see exactly how the campaign is performing. And so that was the first main point that I made in this X article is domain level reply rate tracking, ESP and ESG segmentation, and then just enhanced metrics, whatever, right? Second point is the data. So this is the custom scraper that we built. I was doing a demo here before. Essentially what you can do is you can scrape anywhere, not just in the US, but Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, and we're adding more countries to it as we go. We click the globe view here. You can see the whole globe. Click in wherever we want to scrape leads from. It's usually the US. Select which states. A lot of time it'll be like we'll segment it we'll do a campaign targeting Western and then Central and then Eastern. And then we can also adjust the time zones that we're sending from to make it so that we're hitting them at a better time. and then we got Hawaii and Alaska here as well. But so we can select those, and then we can do a Google Maps query. So any query that would be like a Google Maps listing, so like air conditioning contractor, real estate agent. There's like hundreds of different ones, maybe even thousands. And so we just do like, let's say real estate agent. We name whatever our list is, real estate USA 10K, let's say, and then we just do here and do the limit. Let's say we want 20,000 leads, and then we'll filter it down a little bit, and we'll probably end up with about 10K leads. And then we can do minimum max reviews. This is just some sort of technical stuff of like how zoomed in the query is, and then minimum leads per zip, which is a technical thing about how long do we want it to scrape if it's not pulling many leads. But this is a very, very powerful tool, and it's very, very cost effective. Some of the cheapest scraping ever. Couple bucks per 10,000 leads, if even. And so we're actually working on getting this live so that you guys can try this. But right now it's an internal tool. Within the next honestly couple of days, maybe week or so, Fable comes back and we can get this updated a bit better. Then we'll be pushing this public for other people to try out. But that's the data aspect of this. Oh. And then the last one that I was talking about is the sales funnel. There's many different aspects to this in terms of like, subsequences, go out level automations and all that, CRM automations. But what I want to show you here is just our AI setter. So apply, receive, webhook fires, minutes, not hours, right? And so the AI setter is just the main part of this that I want to share. So let's hop into instantly here. And if we look here, we can see, okay, we get a reply at 9:56, and then the AI setter replies at 9:58. So within 2 minutes, super quick one, just gives my calendar link and a simple sort of deferring answer. Again, right here, okay, we get a reply at 8:34. Reply comes out at 8:36. Or again, right here, 12:06 p.m. and then the reply comes back at 12:08 p.m. So right away, and that speed to lead aspect is insane. There was a study that shows, I saw some like Alex Hormozy clip, and it was some school study, might have been Harvard, said there's like a 391% increase if you can reply within 5 minutes, which is huge. 391% increase, right? So almost like a 4x increase. And so the last thing here is just showing, right, if you have your data tracking on point, you're tracking your individual main reply rates, the ESPs, ESGs, all that crazy technical stuff. You're getting your data from niche sources that aren't getting hammered like millions of times per month or whatever, right? From all these different people scraping Apollo and all these large businesses. And then you have your sales funnel down. You have speed to lead, positive reply follow-ups, the whole 9 yards. Your outbound motion is just going to be so much stronger. And it's crucial to get those set up because it will just drastically improve how well your outbound is performing. And so the last thing here is if you are a B2B business and you want to implement or learn how to build this system, then let's have a conversation. You can book a call with me from this link. I'll put it wherever you're watching this video.